Be still and know that I am God. You have heard that line in a church, at a funeral, in a moment of private difficulty when someone offered it as comfort. You have heard it read in the particular tone that Scripture requires when it has been repeated long enough, reverent, slightly distant, addressed to a power somewhere above and outside the room. I want to tell you tonight what those 8 words actually are, and what I spent 30 years trying to get people to hear in them. Not comfort, not reassurance, not the theological promise that a benevolent external power is managing the situation. A command, a precise psychological command, 3 distinct instructions contained in 8 words that tells you exactly what to do with your inner state in this moment and in every moment after it. Be still is not a call to quietude. No is not an invitation to faith in the conventional sense. And I am, in the understanding Abdullah spent 5 years teaching me, is not the name of a God outside you. It is the operative power of consciousness itself. When you understand what those 3 words are actually commanding, you will understand why this verse has been recited for 3,000 years by people who were holding a complete instruction for the practice of assumption and reading it as devotional poetry. Let me give you the first word. Be still. Not be quiet, not be patient, not wait for God to act. Stop. There is a conversation running in your inner life right now, and it has been running all day. The conversation that narrates the gap, that describes the problem in precise and accumulating detail, that notes what is missing, calculates what is required, monitors whether the situation has improved, observes that it has not, and returns to the beginning to repeat the cycle. The inner voice that is, at any given moment, doing the work of confirming the current outer world as the operating reality. That conversation is the problem. Not because it is wrong about the facts. The facts it narrates are accurate. The bank account does say what it says. The relationship is what it is. The circumstances are what they are. The gap narrating voice is not lying. It is describing the wrong thing. I know the objection. If I stop that conversation, I will be ignoring real problems that need real solutions. The analysis is necessary. The monitoring is responsible. There is a difference between productive analysis and the automatic obsessive confirmation of what is not yet here. Productive analysis moves toward a solution. The gap narrating loop does not move. It consolidates. Every repetition of it deepens the assumption of lack, not because the voice is wrong, but because the subconscious receives the conversation as instruction, regardless of whether it is solving anything. Be still is the command to stop that loop, not to suppress it through argument or force. Suppression is effort, and effort belongs to the wrong state. Simply to stop, to withdraw the attention from the outer conversation and hold it at the threshold of a different one. Now, know. This is the word that changes everything. And if I do not give it its full weight before moving to the 3rd word, the instruction collapses into something far less than what the psalm intends. Know is not believe. It is not hope. It is not pray toward, or reach for, or expect. Know is present tense, active, inhabited. The state of someone for whom the thing is not approaching, but arrived. Not a destination being traveled toward, but the ground being stood on. Not the knowledge of someone who has studied the topic, the knowledge of someone who is standing inside the fact. The knowing the psalm describes is not an emotion generated through effort. It is a position. The settled, unremarkable, unargued certainty of someone who has stopped treating the outer world as the authority on what is real, who has moved in their inner life from the state of someone observing the gap to the state of someone for whom the gap has simply ceased to exist. That position is not an achievement requiring preparation. It is a decision requiring only the willingness to occupy it. Most people, when they encounter a desire, move into a state of reaching. They know what they want. They do not know it as already theirs. The psalm is commanding the knowing, not the reaching. Not of someone working toward the state, of someone already inside it. And then the name, I am. Not God up there. Not the external divine addressed in the second person in petition. The first person, the present tense of being itself. Abdullah taught me that the Hebrew name of God, I am that I am, is not the name of a being separate from the individual. It is the description of the nature of consciousness. It is what you are. The name is the mechanism. Whatever follows I am in your inner speech, you are claiming as your current state. I am poor. I am wealthy. I am overlooked. I am loved. I am failing at this. I am the person for whom this is already worked out. I know what that raises. I say I am things constantly, without intending to claim them as my state. I am tired. I am stuck. I am frustrated. Does every casual self-description carry the weight of a formal prayer? Every I am statement, casual, habitual, unguarded, is received by the subconscious with the same authority as a formal prayer. Not as punishment, as the precise description of how the mechanism operates. The subconscious does not distinguish between the I am you declare deliberately in a practice session and the I am you mutter automatically in the unguarded moments of the day. It receives both with identical authority. Both are answered. The practice is not to monitor every utterance in anxiety. It is to understand the mechanism well enough to direct it deliberately, to ensure that the I am you speak most often, most persistently, in the unguarded background of your thinking, is the I am of the one who already has. The command in the psalm is not to say I am in general. It is to be still, stop the wrong conversation, and then speak I am from inside the state of knowing, from the position of the one who already has, from the ground of someone for whom the outer world's report has no causal authority over the inner identity. Be still. Know. I am. 3 words, a complete sequence, the whole of the Assumption practice, in 8 words of a verse, carried through 3,000 years of human suffering and comfort and ceremony. But there is one more piece, a single word, appearing 3 times in this psalm, that most Bibles do not even translate. And without it, what I have just given you is a sequence of states. With it, it is a practice. The word is Selah. At the end of verse 3, at the end of verse 7, at the end of verse 11. Most translations leave it as is, or note it as a musical direction of uncertain meaning. What Abdullah identified in the Hebrew text, what 5 years of studying the original language with a man who read it the way a scientist reads a manual made clear, is something more precise than a pause between stanzas. In Abdullah's understanding, Selah is a psychological command, not a rest, a stop and impress, the instruction to cease the outer conversation and actively occupy the inner state before the reading continues, to plant what was just described before moving to what comes next. I know the question. How long is the pause? Is this a formal meditation practice or something done in a moment? The pause is not measured in time. It is measured in depth. A genuine occupation of the state, even for 5 seconds, even for the duration of a single breath held in the right position, is sufficient. Selah is not a duration. It is a quality of attention directed inward with a specific intention of impressing what has just been occupied. The psalm, read this way, is not a poem to be admired. It is a ladder, a sequence of states, each one describing a higher position of consciousness, with Selah as the instruction to inhabit each rung genuinely before the next becomes available. And here is where most people who practice this teaching make the error that keeps the ladder from being usable. They stand on the lower rung and look up at the higher one. They see the state of knowing, the state of the one for whom the gap does not exist, as something above them, something to be reached, something whose distance they are currently measuring. The switch is not to climb harder. It is to stop looking at the upper rung and start looking from it. Selah, stop, plant, occupy, then continue. God is our refuge and strength. That is how Psalm 46 opens. Not will be, not is becoming, is, present tense. The supply already exists. The question is never whether it exists. The question is always whether you are occupying the state of consciousness that experiences it. That is the whole of the Psalm's instruction. 3 movements, 1 complete practice. Be still. Stop the conversation that narrates the gap and consolidates the assumption of lack. No. Occupy the position of the one for whom the gap does not exist. Not performance, not reaching. The settled ground of someone who is already inside the fact. I am. Speak from inside that identity, with the authority of the name that is the mechanism, claiming as your state the fulfilled thing rather than the absent one. Be still is not a comfort. It is a command. Stop the conversation that confirms the problem. Occupy the state that dissolves it. Speak from the I am that inhabits it. The verse was never asking you to feel better about the gap. It was instructing you to stop standing in it,